Welcome to Home Care Matters, the show where we discuss all things home care, with discussions on important age-related matters and topics. Brought to you by Enriched Life Home Care Services, the #1 rated home care provider in Michigan by Top Rated Local.
Hello, and welcome back to All Home Care Matters. If this is your first time visiting us here at the show, thank you for taking time to be with us. We appreciate how valuable everyone's time is, and that's why we try to make each episode here at All Home Care Matters something that will hopefully matter to you. On today's show, we are going to talk about something that anyone who has ever cared for a loved one can understand and appreciate, and that is caring for yourself. Have you ever been talking with a friend who's caring for a spouse or maybe a parent, and they say they feel like they're the ones that need the care? That's because they're exhausted or they're feeling burnt out or they miss going to get their hair and nails done on a regular basis. Now they haven't been in a long time because they just don't have the time to go. Or maybe this all sounds familiar because this is what you've been going through as you're caring for a parent or a spouse. Taking care of yourself is extremely important. If something happens to you, what will happen to those who are depending on you for care? But you're not in the minority. Let's look at some research and statistics. If you're caring for a spouse between the ages of 66 and 96, and you are experiencing mental, emotional strain, you have a greater risk of dying. That is 63% higher than that of people your own age who are not caring for a spouse. The combination of loss, long durations of stress, physical demands, and biological vulnerabilities that come with age place you at a risk for serious and significant health issues, as well as a premature death. But now let's assume that you're a part of the baby boomer generation, and you have now become a caregiver for your parents, and you also have a job and your children, usually around adolescent ages, that you're going to face an increased risk for depression, chronic illnesses, and the potential for a decline in your quality of life. This group, the baby boomers, has become so large and common that it was even given its own name, the sandwich generation. We had recently done an episode here at All Home Care Matters on the sandwich generation that you may find interesting and beneficial. So when you get time, check it out. But despite all these risks and warnings, family caregivers of any age group are less likely than non-caregivers to practice preventative health care and personal self-care, regardless of the age, their sex, race, and ethnicity. Caregivers report problems attending to their own health and well-being while managing their caregiving responsibilities. What they report are problems with sleep deprivation, poor eating habits, lack of exercise, the ability to stay in bed when sick, and failure to keep or make healthcare appointments for themselves. If you or someone close to you has ever had to care for a loved one, you understand that it can be an emotional roller coaster. It can also be the hardest job you've ever had. Many times, this is a job that's underappreciated and very thankless. Research has shown that anywhere between 46 to 59% of family caregivers are clinically depressed, and being a family caregiver can lead to increased risk for alcohol, tobacco, and other drug use. Most family caregivers take this role on out of love and commitment for their loved ones. There's typically no financial advantage for them, meaning they're not being paid a salary or hourly wages, yet they are giving of themselves more than they will probably give of themselves for just about anything else they will ever undertake. They're doing this out of love and compassion for their family. So how do they avoid and try to minimize these risks then? Sometimes something that can be very hard for the caregiver to do is accept when caring for their loved one with a chronic illness or terminal illness. Acceptance is one of the toughest things, and they cannot change the outcome or reverse the illness. But what they can do is take pride in the compassion and care they provide their loved ones during their journey with their illness and make it as comfortable as possible while having the peace of mind knowing they are being cared for as best as they can with you as their caregiver. Now, when caring for your loved one, you can make and set realistic goals. If it helps you, make goals either for the long term, or if it works better for you, make and set goals for the short term. If you're trying to set unrealistic goals, you're only preparing yourself for future disappointment But if you set goals that are realistic and achievable, you are instead going to set goals that can be celebrated and help you see your progress. As you're caring for your loved one, due to the emotional ties and closeness you have with them, there will be stress. But try recognizing the early signs before they escalate and work to identify different triggers for the stress. And worry about what you can change and not what you can't, while working to remember there are going to be those things that you can control and change and those that you won't be able to. And being honest with yourself about what those are. If you begin feeling more and more stressed, try doing some exercises or gardening or talking to a close friend and telling them that you just want them to listen. Making small changes may not seem like a whole lot, but they will add up and can surprisingly have a big impact. As you're caring for your loved one, you will undoubtedly face challenges and even problems. Remember though, we said early on in this episode, caring for a loved one can be one of the hardest jobs you'll ever have, and we want to help you make it a little easier with these tips and suggestions we have been talking about. When one of these problems or challenges come up, look for a solution. What this means is, as you're caring for your loved one and you are having problems in certain areas, start thinking of the problem that you keep encountering, and then start thinking of a solution for it. Or maybe it has nothing to do with their care and it's something that you are dealing with personally. Maybe you're tired all the time and you're thinking that you're the only one that should take your loved one to the doctor or the only one capable. But you also feel like you need to be by their bedside throughout the night in case they need something. This isn't a bad thing, yet nobody can be everything. So try thinking differently about that. And instead, think of a plan to help you so that you're not so tired. Maybe it's something as simple as on the days that your loved one has a doctor's appointment, the night before, you'll have a person A, B, or C stay the night so that you are well rested for the doctor's appointment the next day. Then after you try that arrangement, then evaluate the outcome after you've tried it. Did you feel less tired the next time your loved one had a doctor's appointment since you let person A, B, or C stay with them the night before? And was your loved one safe and cared for while you got a good night's sleep? If it was successful for them and you then know you found a good solution to the problem of feeling tired. And if it did not work, try a different solution until you find one that works for you and your loved one. If you've encountered a problem and you have tried and nothing seems to solve it, then maybe you need to consider it's time to move on to a different problem and stop spending so much energy on one that you can't seem to fix right now and come back to it at a later time. Remember, your family, your friends can be a wealth of support for you and for your loved ones. Don't be shy or afraid to lean on them, and you will know them better than anyone else. So you'll know who you can rely and depend on and who you can't. But this is a great resource for you as you're caring for your loved one. Your family and friends can't help you unless they know you need the help. But don't be shy about asking. Remember, you need to stay healthy so that you can care for your loved one. The greatest resource that can help you is communication, whether that is your friends, family, your loved ones you're caring for, or the medical professionals that are over the care of your loved one. If you are unsure about certain conditions or treatments or medications, speak to the healthcare professionals. Ask for that help. Ask for better explanations. They'll be more than happy to break things down for you if you don't have much familiarity in the healthcare field or with your loved one's condition. Anything related to their care and your health, don't put off asking questions for or looking for additional help for whatever the needs are. So let's summarize. Remember, it's not selfish or wrong to focus on your needs when you're caring for a loved one. The only person responsible for your care, health, and well-being is you. Learn stress reduction techniques. Try yoga, praying, exercise, or meditation. Don't neglect your own health. Make sure to get adequate sleep. Use good eating habits as well. Avoid junk food, pop, and sweets. Try incorporating healthier meals when you're able to into your normal day-to-day. You can even maybe share meals and meal planning with your loved one. You guys can try new things together. Try to incorporate exercises into your routine, even if it's just walking around the yard or your home. Don't forget to take time off and keep hobbies or activities. Even though you're caring for a loved one, doesn't mean you lose your identity and who you are and the things that you enjoy. Make and set realistic goals. Allow others to help, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Make sure to utilize counseling if and when it might be needed, whether it's a trusted pastor, a close friend, or a counselor. These tips and recommendations are to help you as you care for your loved one, whether they need your care and support on a short-term basis or for a long-term basis. You'll be able to take better care of them if you take good care of you. Resources for family caregivers to utilize, and that has a wealth of information, is caregiver.org and the Family Caregiver Alliance. They have a wealth of information, resources, and tips for families as they care for their family and loved ones. Some of the statistics and information that we use for this episode was gathered from there. If you have questions, reach out to them. They have great support available as well. Thank you for joining us here today at All Home Care Matters. If you know someone that is caring for a loved one and can benefit from this episode and information, please share it with them. All Home Care Matters is here for you and to help families as they navigate long-term care issues. Please visit us at allhomecarematters.com. There's a private, secure, fillable form there where you can give us feedback, show ideas, or if you have questions. Every form is read and responded to. We hope you'll join us next time on All Home Care Matters, where we discuss the 5 wishes. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to you joining us again on another episode of Home Care Matters. To learn more about the show and to connect with us, visit us at allhomecarematters.com.